Dear students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor P. Bhaskar Reddy, Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology, Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati. In the present module of the paper Outlines of Indian History, you are going to learn about resistance to the British rule. The Britishers who came to India for the purpose of the trade, they tried to acquire the territories in India, particularly from the Battle of Plassey. Since then, they monopolized in Indian territories, both in political and also economical, and by war and diplomacy, they became masters in a major portion of India. Though the company rule practically continued up to 1754 to 1857, it is not totally a passive rule. Their rule witnessed several revolts and movements since the beginning of 1754. In this present module, you are going to learn about the movements and revolts against the British rule, which started from the inception up to 1900, the anti-colonial movements, particularly up to 1857, is a sub-theme. Then the revolt of 1857, which was an important event in the resistance to the company rule. Then we also discuss about the tribal movements and their historical significance. With these objectives, let us start our discussion on what are the causes for the beginning of this type of resistance movements in India? What factors contributed for the development of this much of resistance to oust the Britishers? Regarding the causes for anti-British movements, the British rule in India adversely affected different strata of Indian population. This led to the series of anti-British movements throughout the country. The struggle against the British rule in India did not begin suddenly. It began from the time of very inception of the British rule. The reason for this was its very nature of rule, that is colonial nature. The latter destroys the country and the society where its rule is established. There was no development of agriculture and irrigational facilities. The irrigation system were neglected and were transformed into historical ruins. There was a widespread corruption in all the departments of company government. The Indian trade and commerce was destroyed through various measures attempted by the company. Even the privileges of the elite in the society, that is villages, caste, sects, religions, servants of the villages like headmen, etc., were removed from their positions. Even the rights of the tribals were also denied. In fact, the pride of the Indians were hurt by the Britishers. By all this, unrest prevailed in the company rule. Naturally, the Indians of different regions decided to drive out the Britishers from their regions, and for that organized rebellions against the British. With this background of the discussion about the factors for the starting of resistance movement and peasant movements against the company rule, now we can shift our discussion. The anti-colonial movements which began in India up to 1857. In the beginning, the opposition to British rule took the character of sporadic but heroic and self-sacrificing peasant struggles. The peasants and artisans, driven to desperation, often rose, arms in hand, against the colonial rulers and their native agents. One among the great peasant and Adivasi rebellions which aimed at overthrowing colonial rule was the revolt of the Sannyasis and Fakirs of Bengal. Regarding the Sannyasis uprising, a sect of Sannyasis rose in rebellion against the British rule in Bengal in the year 1673 after the completion of Plassey battle and when the Britishers started their direct rule in that part of Bengal region. The immediate cause of this upsurge was the restriction imposed by the British upon the pilgrims visiting holy places and shrines. These sannyasis, aided by common people, raided the English factors and their settlements. It went through different phases until it was finally suppressed in the year 1800. Thus, this was the important beginning in the Bengal region where the sannyasis led a leading role in starting a resistance to company rule. Then other one is fakirs rising. A large number of fakirs or Muslim mendicants revolted against the British rule under the leadership of Manju Shah and Chirag Ghali. They also attacked English factories and looted their goods, arms and money. There were a number of battles fought between the fakirs and the British troops in which the latter suffered heavy losses due to the suppressive measures taken by the company to suppress these type of revolts in the various parts of the country. In the same time, besides this type of sannyasi and fakirs movement, there was another movement which started by the Muslims of India in the name of Wahhabi movement. What is Wahhabi movement? What factors contributed for the starting of Wahhabi and how it became a resistance movement against the Britishers, we can discuss now. This movement was originally an Islamic socio-religious reform movement. Sayyid Ahmad of Rai Bareli was the founder. Their ambition was to revive Muslim power in Hindustan by overthrowing the Sikhs in Punjab and British in Bengal. Wahhabism spread very rapidly, particularly in Bihar, Bengal, UP and northwestern parts of India. There were also the Wahhabi revolts in certain parts of India which waved the Muslim religious banner but were essentially struggles of the poor and landless peasants against the aligned rulers, landlords and moneylenders. Besides the above movements, there were several rebellions started by the peasants and also various sections of the society against the company rule. The prominent among them are the revolt of hillmen and peasants of Birbhum, Bishnupur and contiguous areas, the Chau rebellions, the insectum of the pigs in Orissa, the coals of Chota Nagpur rebellion, resistance of the bills in Khandesh and neighboring areas, revolts of the Kolis in Gujarat and Maharashtra, the long and harassing hill warfare waged by the Khasis, Santhal rebellion of 1855-56 under the leadership of Sidho and Kanho, which this movement can be discussed separately, uprising of the Adivasis organized by Vasudev Balwant Patke in Maharashtra, Maplas revolt in Malabar, the peasant revolts of Tamil and Telugu regions. Thus, since the beginning of the company rule, there were several movements and revolts, whatever the cause it may be, but the main cause is to overcome from the oppressive rule of the company. And with this background of various revolts, and these revolts were the inspiration for the Great Revolt of 1857. Now we may shift our discussion to discuss the most important event in the history of the British India rule, that is 1857 revolt. With this background of the revolts which began during the company rule, started by various sections of the people of the society, it paved the way for the further stage of rebellions which began in 1857. Now we may shift our discussion to know about what is 1857 revolt, why it was started, and what is the course of the battle, and how the Britishers suppress that movement. It is known that the revolt of 1857 was a remarkable event in the history of India after the establishment of British rule. It regarded as India's first war of independence. It began with a mutiny of Sipais, but soon engulfed wide regions and involved the masses. Millions of peasants, artisans, and soldiers fought heroically for over a year. It is known in the Indian history as Indian Rebellion of 1857, the Great Uprising of 1857, the Great Rebellion of 1857, and also Indian Sepoy Movement 1857. Regarding the causes of the 1857 revolt, various factors and causes contributed for the starting of the 1857 revolt. Among the important causes for the 1857, the political cause is the one. For over a century, as the British had been conquering the country bit by bit, popular discontent and hatred against foreign rule was gaining strength among the different sections of the Indian society. Particularly, the Dalhousie's policies of doctrine of lapse, it was the main responsible. His maltreatment towards Bahadur Shah II hurt the sentiments of the Muslim community also. The discontinuation of the pension of the Peshwa Nawab Sahib shocked the Marathas. This content of royal families, army men and common people jointly exposed the great revolt of 1857. Besides the political cause, economic cause also is there for the starting of 1857. It was an outburst of grievances due to the economic exploitation of the company in a rule period of 100 years. The traditional Indian economy collapsed as a result of the British investment policies and revenue administration. The company's trade policy destroyed Indian handicrafts. Huge number of Indians were thrown out of employment. Thus, out of the discontent, the artisans and peasantry, who are basically a rural background and agrarian-based communities, joined hands with the Sipais in the mutiny. Regarding the social and religious causes are concerned, the English could not establish any social relationship with the Indians. The racial arrogance of British created a difference between the rulers and the ruled community. The enactment of some acts greatly offended the sentiments of the people. Particularly, some of these acts were taken as a deliberate blow at the Hindu religion, custom and rights of inheritance. Among all the causes, the most important cause for the starting of this movement is the military cause. The Sipais of the company regiment had been feeling dissatisfied with the English. There was a disparity in salaries between the Indian and European sailors. Indian Sipais were treated with contempt by their European officers. Sipais were sent to distant parts of the empire but were not paid any extra allowances. Sipais were refused in promotion in all aspects of the cadres like their counterparts of Europeans. The induction of Enfield rifles in the army with greased cartridges, there were several instances of discontented Sipais refusing to take orders from their superiors. It was the grievance of the Sipais that ultimately became the root cause for the 1857 revolt. With this background of various causes and factors, the 1857 revolt was begun. Now we can discuss the main events of the revolt. The revolt began in March 1857. Mangal Pandey, a Sipai in Barakpur, had refused to use the cartridge and attacked his senior officers. As a suppressive measure, Mangal Pandey was hanged on 29th March 1857. Then on 24th April, 90 men of the 3rd Native Cavalry refused to accept the same greased cartridges. On 9th May, 85 soldiers in Meerut refused to use the new rifle and were sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. In the next day, the revolt began at Meerut and then gathered force rapidly. It cut across northern India as if like a sword and spread all over the country. In Delhi, the mutineers were joined in the Delhi Sipais and the city came under the control. On the next day, the Sipais proclaimed the aging Bahadur Shah the emperor of Hindustan, but Bahadur Shah was very old at that time and he could not give able leadership to the Sipais to make a strong resistance against the Britishers. However, the revolt spread over entire area from the neighborhood of Patna to the borders of Rajasthan. It soon embraced a vast area from the Punjab in the north and the Narmada in the south to Bihar in the east and Rajputana in the west. Delhi, Lucknow, Kanpur, Jhansi and Gwalior were the prime centers of the revolt. Nana Sahib, the Maratha chief, became the leader of the rebels in Kanpur. Rani Lakshmibai, the courageous woman of the day, challenged the Britishers in Jhansi. The movement had its impact on southern India also in the form of rebellions of Turabaj Khan in Hyderabad and Korakonda Subbareddy in Godavari region of Andhra during the same period. When the 1857 revolt spread overwhelmingly on various sections of the people started rebellions against the company rule. The company also have taken certain oppressive measures to suppress the revolt. Now, how the Britishers suppressed the revolt, we may discuss now. During this period, Lord Canning, the Governor General, took immediate steps to suppress the revolt. He collected the forces of Madras, Bombay, Sri Lanka and Burma. The Sipais fought the battles with their limited strength for nearly 4 months without any fear. However, on 25th September 1857, the British troops regained Delhi, which were captured by the Sipais. Afterwards, the British company started to suppress the revolt, and in all the regions, Bahadur Shah was arrested, later deported to Rangoon. Nana Sahib lost the Battle of Kanpur and fled away. Nawab Wajid Ali Shah and Begum Hazrat Mahal lost Lucknow. Lakshmibai of Jhansi lost her life in the battleground at Gwalior. Tantia Tope continued the fight at Gwalior and later surrendered in the year 1857. Kunwar Singh, Bakht Khan of Bihar, Bahadur Khan, Maulavi Ahmad of Faizabad lost their lives one after other. Thousands of innocent people were massacred and hundreds were hanged in the suppression of revolt. On July 8, 1858, 14 months after the outbreak of Meerut, peace was finally proclaimed by Canning. Thus, the Britishers suppressed the revolt successfully. However, this 1857 revolt marked a new beginning and many changes were occurred in the political scenario of India. Now we may shift our discussion. What was the outcome of the revolt of 1857? The revolt marked the end of the East India Company rule. The India came under the direct rule of the Crown. This was announced by Lord Canning at a darbar in Allahabad in a proclamation issued on November 1858 in the name of the Queen. Thus, Indian administration was taken over by the Queen Victoria. The Governor General's office was replaced by the Viceroy. The doctrine of lapse was abolished. The right to adopt sons as a legal heir was accepted. Thus, the revolt of 1857 paved the way for the future struggle for freedom in India. So far, we discussed about various movements and revolts which began from the inception of the company rule and also the Great Revolt of 1857. Besides that, the tribals of India also started various movements in various parts of the country, and they have much significance in the history of India, which their main purpose is also to protest the rule of the Britishers for their other policies. Now we may shift our discussion, the important tribal movements, the causes for the starting of the tribal movements. There have been a series of tribal rebellions during the early days of British rule. These movements were directed towards filling their land from all those who exploited them economically and culturally. The land alienation, usurpation, forced labor, minimum wages, and land grabbing compelled many tribes like Santals, Munda, Kol, Bhils, Warli, etc. and in many regions like Assam, Orissa, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar and Maharashtra, which were under the control of Britishers, they started several revolts in various forms. Among that, particularly the tribal communities responded to the British exploitation and oppression with occasional violent outbursts with very high order of solidarity. Most of the tribal leaders claimed to derive their authority from God. This was the main belief among the tribal communities. They also often claimed that they possessed magical powers. Filled with hope and confidence, the tribal masses followed these leaders to start a rebellions in their areas against the British policies and their oppression. With this background of the causes for the tribal movement, it is not possible to discuss all the tribal movements. We may concentrate on two important tribal movements. One is Santhal Rebellion, which began in 1885. Of all the tribal revolts in modern India, the Santhal Hul or uprising of 1855-56 before the uprising of 1857 was most massive. The Santhal Hul was a native rebellion in Jharkhand against both the British colonial authority and upper caste Jamindari system. Santals were originally the agricultural people, lived in the region between Bhagalpur and Rajmahal known as Daman-e-Koh. The Permanent Settlement Act in 1793 led a disaster in their lives as their lands were given to Jamindars and high rents were demanded subsequently. In 1855, the Santals held an assembly with 6,000 people of 400 villages met at Bhaganidhi, decided to revolt to get rid of the outsiders and their colonial masters. Their slogan was ending Kali Yuga and establishing Satya Yuga. The Santals believed that their actions had the blessings of God. Sidho and Kanho were the principal leaders of this Santhal rebellion, and they claimed that Thakur had communicated with them and told them to take up arms and fight for independence. With this inspiration, nearly 60,000 Santals had been mobilized and they started the revolt. They started the destruction. Postal and railway communications between Bhagalpur and Rajmahal was cut off. The British mobilized troops and military operations began. As in consequence, more than 15,000 Santals were killed, while tens of villages were destroyed. Sidho was betrayed and captured and killed in the year 1855 in the month of August. Kanho, the other leader, was arrested by accident at the tail end of the rebellion in February 1856. Finally, martial law was imposed in the areas where Santals were prevalent. Thus, the Santhal rebellion was put an end by the British East India Company. Thus, the Britishers successfully suppressed the Santhal rebellion with a much havoc. Have a look at the havoc done by the Britishers against the tribal communities. One more, One more important rebellion of this age, which occurred in the after 1857, is the Birsa Munda rebellion, which began in 1899. The best known of the tribal rebellions of 19th century was the Ugulang in the region south of Ranchi. The Munda tribes were frustrated with the activities of Christian missionaries and led a movement against the same. This movement was led by Birsa Munda, hence it was known as Birsa Munda Rebellion. Birsa Munda is named with great respect as one of the freedom fighters in the Indian struggle for independence against British colonialism after 1857. During 1893 and 94, Birsa took part in a movement for prevention of village wastelands being taken over by the Forest Department. In 1895, he is said to have seen a vision of a supreme god. Then Mundas started a new religion with Birsa as priest and Singh Bongpa as their god. After this, he claimed to be prophet with miraculous healing powers. Thousands of tribal people began flocking Chakut to the hear of the news of Birsa Munda and his preachings. Thus, the Birsa Munda's rebellion became very strong. The Britishers also started to put an end to it. As a result, the Birsa was jailed in 1895 for 2 years by the British, who feared a conspiracy. But he returned much more with fresh hope. A series of night meetings were held in the rest period of 1898 and 99. Birsa gathered a huge force of about 6,000 Mundas armed with swords, spears, battle axe and bows and arrows. Have a figures how the Birsa Munda inspired the people and how they collected with various tribal weapons to make a strong resistance against the Britishers. Birsa was allegedly used in the killing of Tikadars, Jagidars, Raja, Hakims and Christians, and promised that the guns and bullets would turn into water. Effigies of the British Raj was solemnly burnt in all the tribal habitants. Particularly on the Christmas Eve, the Birsites shot arrows and tried to burn down churches over an area covering 6 police stations in the districts of Ranchi and Singhban. The police became the main targets in 1900, which leading to panic in Ranchi. On January 9th, however, the rebels were defeated at Sail Rakab Hill. Birsa was captured finally in 1900 February and died in the jail in June 1900. Nearly 350 Mundas were put on trial. They were hanged and 44 transported for life. Ultimately, the movement was suppressed. Have a look at the atrocities done by the Britishers on the tribal population. Thus, Birsa Munda's rebellion have unique place in the history of India. Though it is a tribal movement, he created his mark of history among the tribal communities. Thus, the Birsa Munda still remains a living memory, both as a apostle of small religious sect and also through some extraordinary moving folk songs. Yet the seeds of unrest were sown among his people and they continue to fight against injustice. So far we discussed about various movements and revolts starting from the company rule up to 1900 with important events of the movements like 1857, Birsa Munda, Santal. Besides this, there were several movements, each nook and corner of the India, which was started for whatever the purpose it may be, but the main goal is to oust the Britishers. From 1900 onwards, these movements received a new shape in the name of freedom movement from the Britishers. All these movements showed clear and anti-imperialist feelings and were directed against British oppression and exploitation. People from different castes, creeds, and communities actively participated in these movements, and this was the beginning for the origination of the national movement, which in course of time it became very popular in the beginnings of 19th century. For more details, go through the e-text and other component parts of the module. Thank you.